Shane, we are live. It is Wednesday of free agency. Manic and Chill is back March 12th, 2025. We have a lot to talk about. But before we do that, how you feeling, Shane? How you feeling today?
I'm good.
We had a spirited conversation in the Discord earlier today, didn't we?
We did. We did have a fun little convo in the Discord. We were typing, which is not a great idea while you're driving home from work. But the topic was just that interesting, and I felt like arguing with you that much that I had to get my words in. So yeah, I mean, and that's par for the course in the Discord, right? There's always conversations going on, whether it's in the voice chat or whether it's typing. Sometimes they get spirited, but it's fun sometimes talking about theoretical stuff. It just is.
Yeah, it was a conversation about draft pick war and what to do with draft picks. And I think a lot of it is missing when we're just typing into a chat and not actually being able to hash out like real life application. But maybe that's a show for next week. I plan out putting on a pod talking about draft pick war and just some of the takeaways. But clearly, you can't just look at the graph, just like a war graph. You can't just look at the graph and have it give you all the answers. But that's for next week. That's for this week's pod, probably on Destination Dynasty. But Shane, we got free agency to talk about. And anybody that has not checked out all the content on the channel, we put out a bunch of free agency reaction videos from Davante Adams, DK Metcalf, Geno Smith, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris. You and I knocked that one out the other day. About 10 free agency impact videos that are out there. If you haven't checked those out, please do so, like and subscribe. But we're here to talk free agency fallout, dynasty trades in motion, Shane. That is the title. I just noticed in the title, there's 2 colons. Do you see that? In the show title?
Bro, I don't even see the title. Oh, wait, Manic and Chill free.
Yes, yeah. At the top of the screen. The 2 colons. That means it's an important show, right?
I don't think you can do that. I think the grammar police will come and get us, bro.
I think that is definitely illegal. But anyway, we are going to take your trades tonight that have something to do with free agency impact. Doesn't have to be a player that was signed or traded over the last couple days, but it can be a trade that maybe has changed your mind or has maybe changed evaluation or something like that based on something that's happened in free agency. So you ready to go? Before we do that, Shane, let me just ask, like, what does this free agency period mean to you from a dynasty trading standpoint, given like we're not getting studs that are moving? We hardly ever do, but this year is particularly weak. But how are you going to take advantage of it as things start to wind down over the next couple of days?
I'm probably going to try to get rid of all these roster clogger players that had some movement this week, with the hopes that someone actually wants them, which is more than people did 3 days ago. We were talking about like Josh Palmer before we came on air. I think that Josh Palmer train has left the station. So if I can get someone to give me something for him, see ya. Rico Dowdle, I'm on the Rico Dowdle. I love Rico Dowdle. But if somebody's going to give me something, anything for Khalil Herbert, he gone. I'm just trying to think, like, I would say Zach Ertz, but we already talked about Najee, so go check out that video. But yeah, just trying to get some of these roster cloggers off my rosters, especially the running backs, because I'd rather be in a position when rookie drafts come that I'm picking someone that at least has a narrative that they can have a role, as opposed to someone that's signed somewhere and they got ethered. I don't know, maybe a Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, there's probably, other than, no, there really isn't. There really isn't even a single tie probably that's been involved in anything that's happened in free agency. There's a few that are locked and loaded starters, even in like start 9s or start 10, but it's so few and far between. The takeaway really isn't about the change in value, right? Like, we're going to talk about some running backs. To me, once you get outside of the top 5, 6, 7 running backs in Dynasty, there's no such thing as value. It is more of, am I willing to bet on the player having a role that fits my roster construction or not? And if the answer is no, then, the sell value, as you will see on some of these deals if you watch the Javonte Williams show, the sell value isn't sell Javonte Williams high. It's sell him to somebody that now will buy him when they would not have wanted to buy him over the last 6 to 12 months. That's the only thing that's changed. I think for the most part, dynasty managers don't go, oh, Javonte's going to smash. Let me give you a second. They're going, okay, now he has a role potentially. I'll give you a third. And I'm not saying you shouldn't sell for a third, but if you have 5 guys like him on your roster, it might not be a bad idea to sell the one that you can sell today and just bank the third. So I think there's some roster construction strategy that goes into this. We're going to go through trades tonight. We're going to take your trades. So again, if you have trades that are impacted by anything that's happened in the last 5 days or so, put them in the chat. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But Shane, if you could switch it over, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to just roll through trades of players impacted by free agency. And we are going to use Dynasty Daddy. Shout out to Jeremy at Dynasty Daddy, dynasty-daddy.com. There we go. Manic and Chill review, Shane. You missed the overlay. We're good now. We're good. And you're muted just in case. The people are going to want to hear from you here in a second. You did one of the 3 tasks correct.
I showed up on time. I showed up on time.
Okay, 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. Where do you want to start? You pick a player, maybe one we haven't really talked through together on looking at trades, but I'm just looking at trades. I'm filtering. I'm going to the trade database, and I'm just looking at trades from the past 3 days. So since free agency started on Monday till today. So nothing older than that. And obviously, if it's a player that just, gets signed today, like Dowdle, I'll filter it a little differently. But where do you want to start?
Is this cheating? How about Davante Adams?
Okay, Davante Adams.
We didn't get a chance to talk, unfortunately, because that broke while we were on air talking about something else, and then you pissed me off for another man. So yeah, let me see what's Davante out there.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly what I did.
And we talked about Davante. It was funny because Davante was one of the players that we talked about on the way home when we jumped on the voice chat in Heisman.
Yep. So I'm filtering, just so everybody, if you want to follow this along, you can. I'm filtering by at least 1.5 tight end premium, start 10 or more, 12 teams or more, and super flex. And it had to have happened in the last 3 days. So we've had 54 trades that fit that criteria. So let's just roll through a few of these. Look at that first one, Shane. 12 teams, start 10. Javonte Williams for Davante Adams just happened today. Is that one? That's how you sell Javonte Williams for something more impactful, right?
So whoever has Davante Adams in my leagues, where I think I have one Javonte Williams share, I'm sorry. I'm going to be sending you this offer because I've seen it happen. So I'm going to need you to screenshot this, matter of fact, for me and send it to me.
Yeah, you better just take a second, as you are so aptly do when we're streaming, is fire out trades. Yeah. You better fire it out because the pre-Manic and Chill price is not the post-Manic and Chill price. So if we highlighted it, I'm guessing nobody's probably going to snap accept this. So let's look at some others. I'm not going to look at all of them because obviously there's a ton. This trade, I don't know what somebody was doing. Ben Sinnott, the 201 and the 209 for Davante Adams and Terry McLaurin.
It's a 5-point tight end premium, but not just that. It's a tight end premium for special team snaps.
And scout team catches.
Scout team catches, yes.
All right, so here's a Jalen Coker and a second for Davante Adams. That's kind of a sharp offer if you want to buy and don't want to pay a first. You tack on a non-zero receiver, but one that you're not confident starting, and you add a second and see if you can get Adams. That's reasonable. And I could see that being reasonable for a tanking team too, right? Like,
damn it. Oh, absolutely. Look, I'm going to send this offer out to someone, but you could tell yourself a story like, oh, Coker had a very good year last year, rookie, right? A 29-year-old rookie or whatever he is, and I get a second-round pick, and I cash out on a 30-year-old wide receiver.
32-year-old, and 32. What's the next move if you do that deal? You got to be trying to flip Jalen Coker for something, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ooh, okay. Let's talk through this one, Shane. This is a 12 by 10. Half PPR tight end. We got Bijan Robinson, Davante Adams, and a 26 first for Jordan Love, the 101 and the 212. Can we take Bijan in the 101 and wash those out? Is that fair?
I got to be honest with you. Bijan's worth more than the one. Okay, assuming you made the pick, I'd prefer Bijan over 101 because of flexibility. Sure, they're equal.
Okay, and let's say 101 and 212 for Bijan.
Fair.
Okay. So Davante Adams and a first for Jordan Love in a super flex.
We don't
No
really...
context. You don't know if Jordan Love is your QB5, your QB1. You don't know any of that. It's just fair value. I have an opinion, but I think that's the context for me. What do you think?
I think I'm doing it.
If you like Adams, and let's just assume that Jordan Love is not your QB1, right? You are selling your QB2 or below, and you want non-quarterback production. That's a pretty strong package, don't you think, to get Adams, Bijan, and you net a first that you can bank?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There we go. Now that is a trade, Shane. I lumped a bunch of shit into a deal.
I was digging through my pockets, and I found this lint that was hanging out of my ass because there's a hole in my pocket, and I bundled it together, and I sent it, and I got Davante Adams. That is absolutely beautiful.
I can be on board if you like Deebo Samuel a little bit, but the fact that you were able to just tack onto something with Tank Dell in a third, which is essentially nothing and nothing, to get what you prefer, that's why that's a strong deal, because you were able to add basically things that were just chilling on your roster that you probably said, what do I do with Tank Dell for this year? I don't know. Can he get placed on IR anytime soon so I don't have to look at him? Other than that, that's a great deal to get rid of him.
Not one Jalen Coker share. Can't trade no Williams, but anyway.
We have a Discord member that he'll jump in here, and he often references crayon eating leagues. And
this is one of them.
This might be one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll skip over that one. Okay. Here's one.
Oh, I like this. Okay, so this one.
Walk through it.
I will competing Davante Adams over the next 2 years will absolutely smack Khalil Shakir around. As a long-term asset, I get that Shakir is going to be more valuable, although he might be not right now. So I get this deal. I do understand this deal. Now, I'm still taking Davante Adams because I'd rather the chance at an elite productive season, one of them, than 10 wide receiver 3 seasons out of Shakir. And that's what his upside is. So I'm still taking Adams, though I understand the thought process undertaking Shakir. You're getting significantly younger. You're getting something that's still will be considered an asset in a year's time, 2 years' time, whereas Adams most likely will be out of the league. But I'll take Adams.
Yeah, I mean, and the Bills signed Josh Palmer. They have Khalil Shakir. They have Keon Coleman. They have Dalton Kincaid. It feels like none of them are great starters, but you could tell me if any of them was the best receiving option on the Bills, I wouldn't be shocked.
No.
So yeah, that's a tough click if you're trying to compete. Like, it's hard to even stomach. Okay, Shakir is long-term value really exist for a guy like Shakir if he doesn't produce as a top 30 receiver? Not really. So let's look at a couple more, then we'll move on. This is one. I mean, Davante. 2/3 for Adams. Like
Davante.
Would you send a second and a third for Adams if you have extras?
I would.
Yeah, I know you would.
We talked about this earlier. I'd give up a first for him. Hey, it's more cokeheads. People are really into cokehead for Davante Adams. Although you're giving up Waddle. That's a lot.
There's another one. Adams for a second. I'm going to skip through because we're not going to go through all 54. Otherwise, this is not the Davante Adams fantasy fallout show. It could be. Adams for a second.
Oh, Adams for picking straight up is in there. I'm still taking Adams.
There's one. Davante Adams and DeAndre Swift, who is a good running back, but also one of those volatile ones that could be nuked in the draft to an extent. But I like Swift. Swift, if the Bears only bring in like a round 4 running back, like Swift is probably a top 24 guy again. Like, he's historically been pretty good. What do you like on this trade? Smitty and a third, or Swift and Adams? Given that it's probably going to be hard for Adams just to outproduce Smitty, and Smitty is a better asset. Is Swift and a third enough to take the age discount here?
I think so. Yes.
So you'd take the Smitty side?
Yeah, under the pretext, yes. I can also then move Smith at some point, probably, right? If I wanted to over the next 2 years, I can't do that with Adams. I take Adams on, and my team is ass this year. Guess what? I'm moving Adams for some rando second.
There's a Devy league, Jaden Higgins for Davante Adams, or a league where they've already done their draft.
Not doing it. Not doing it until I know where Jaden Higgins is drafted. Not a chance. All I know, that dude falls to the 4th round. Hell, if it's the 3rd round, his outlook is not great.
So here is a half PPR tight end premium. Josh Downs in the 204 for effectively Tucker Kraft and Davante Adams.
Davante
Pretty
Adams.
easy.
Yeah, Davante side.
Okay. Well, let's do 2 more. I mean, come on. Hank Bigsby and Kendre Miller for Davante Adams.
Ooh, I have Kendre Miller in a league. Guess
Shane's
what?
like, wait, I have some shitty running backs like that. Can I do that deal?
Kendre, my boy.
Okay, here's a big boy one. We'll end with this. 1.5 tight end premium. Puka Nacua, who is effectively your 3rd child at this point.
Yeah, it's Puka.
Jonnu Smith in the 307 or Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams in a 1st, Shane. That's an expensive Puka Nacua right there.
And it's start 11.
Yep.
Oh, man.
This is easy for me, bro.
I don't want to say it, though.
It's the left side all day. You can do so much more
good.
with that deal.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, look, even if I think I love Puka, you know that, but Garrett Wilson in a 1st for Puka is probably fair, especially in the start 11. Davante Adams a million miles over Juju, and the 307. Ugh, yeah, I got to take the left-hand side as much as I don't want to. Not a fan of it, but I would do it.
All right, well let's hit a trade real quick. Get one from the crowd. I know we got a few in there.
No, we've got a kabillion trades. Let me
fire one up. Fire one up.
Whoa, slow down, bro. Slow down.
And actually, let me switch the overlay again so that it doesn't literally block our faces. And there.
Boom. Brad White, King of New York. 10 teams, start 11, PPR, 0.5 tight end premium, was a 2 QB. Now it's a super flex. They took a step back. They said, no, I don't like this. He's got JJ McCarthy. Okay, here you go. Super flex. Here's a trade. JJ McCarthy and Rashid Shaheed, or the 103 and a 26th 3rd. Now, the team that has JJ McCarthy also has Lamar, Jaden, Kyler, and Darnold. League does not give credit for punt, kick, return yards. This league does also for Shaheed. So that makes sense. I got you. Yeah, I'm taking the 103. I can see that your league does not value quarterbacks just based off the fact that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starting quarterbacks. And JJ McCarthy
first of all,
QB4.
It's a 10-teamer.
4, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you just said the league doesn't value quarterbacks, yet they're trading the 103 for
other people don't. Other people don't. So that's kind of my point. Like, you found someone that's going to value it. Take it.
I do think that other people probably do. It's just Brad has all of them. So someone finally paid.
There's
and
that.
The fact that, and let me ask your opinion on this. I would never do this trade with somebody because this is a fair/overpay trade to get JJ McCarthy. But I'm handing a team that already has 3 top 10 quarterbacks, including 2 of the top 5, a 1st for something that he doesn't even need. So it feels like you are just walking into an even bigger trap than you're already in with your roster because your team's probably getting better, but you're helping this team even more than you're helping your own team. And that should be a calculation when you do a trade. Like, I want to trade and I want to help you and help me. But I'm helping this team 2x what they're helping me, even if JJ McCarthy is Kyler Murray.
Look, I generally don't care about how I help the other team, to be quite honest with you. I get what you're saying, though. But in this case, I wouldn't pay the 103 for JJ McCarthy if I was on the other side. I just wouldn't. I'm not paying the 103 for I don't know what he would be in this QB class. I'll say he's probably above Shador, but below Cam. So I'm paying the 103 to get someone that would be the 105, 106 in this class. Just that's my thought process. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And I think you do have to think about this in your league. Like, there's some game theory to who you trade with and how much you help them versus how much you help you. I get it.
Yeah.
You only focus on your own roster, blah, blah, blah. But there is a net effect of moves that you make. Like, I'm not saying I won't trade with somebody if it helps them, but I'm not trading with somebody if it helps them 2x what it helps me.
Yeah.
So just a thought.
All right.
One more, and then we'll do another player.
GG16. Good evening, fellas. Would you trade? And all these players had some impacts on them from free agency. Would you trade Jaden Daniels for Puka Nacua and Brock Purdy in a 12-team Superflex start 11?
Ooh. I think I'd stick with Jaden, but this is also one of those where really it's not a 2-for-1. It is if I keep Jaden, how cheaply can I find a second piece? Just theoretically, I have a hole. How cheaply can I fill that with not close to Puka, but let's just say I could get a replacement level receiver in there every week, Shane, that's giving me 11 points per game. When you say I'm automatically going to be able to get that for very little cost, I'm probably sticking with Jaden Daniels. But if you're trading Jaden, like, you can't really expect a better offer than this, because if you don't get one, you're just probably not trading him, and that's fine. But I think this is one of those where, hey, Shane, I sent you a trade offer for Jaden Daniels. My best offer is in the inbox. And if you say no, then you're just holding on to Jaden for another year at least, right?
So it's unlikely that someone's going to give me a top 8 Dynasty wide receiver plus we'll call him a back end QB1. I'm not sure. I don't remember what his scoring was last year, but I know that's in his range of outcomes, low end QB1 range of outcomes. I would doubt that someone else is going to be able to match a deal like that.
Correct. All right. Let's go with another player. If you want to change over the overlay again so we can get it rolling. Who do you want to do next?
Hold on. I got to go over to the banners. Nope, that's not right.
Putting Shane to work.
Media assets. Hold on. I got this.
There's one.
Okay. And then.
Nope.
So close. Then this one?
Not really. There's only 3 options. This. My goodness. Okay, I'll just do it. This one terrible streaming. Okay, what player are we doing? We're not doing another receiver. Let's go with a different position.
Let's do our boy. We did it. We already did a video on him, so I don't want to go Najee. Who's another running back that got?
Let's do Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. We again. I'll just say this, right? While Scott's doing this, please subscribe. We're literally inches from 4,000 on this channel. Please hit subscribe. Please hit like. Please hit share. Sign your kids up and sub them to the show. I promise I won't curse on it and any of the shows, maybe. But also, we were talking about Justin Fields and some interesting trades that we thought of, again, in the Heisman voice chat. So not to be all pluggy, but bro, or ma'am, if you're listening, you should really take us up on becoming a DD Fantasy member. You get the website access, you get the Discord access, you can get half off the first month using our code, which I don't know, but
just scan the QR code, the little box between us. Yes, scan that with your phone, and you're signed up. But you nailed that promo. Otherwise, Shane, you nailed it.
There you go.
A lot of Justin Fields trades. These are today. Again, super flex. Let's roll through some of these. I mean,
Fields.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even close. There's an interesting one. You had to add to Fields to get McCarthy.
Justin Fields, bro.
Okay.
And the 108, because people might be listening to this. Remember, people might be listening. So Justin Fields in the 108 or JJ McCarthy in a 2027 second. I'm taking Fields in the 108.
Yes. And the first one was Justin Fields for the 211, which is an obvious one. This one, Fields straight up for Tua. Feels like I'm pivoting off of Fields for some long-term security, yet I traded for the guy with there's a concussion away from retiring. So this feels like you gave up all of the upside to pivot to something that doesn't really have a longer shelf life.
Yeah, why would you do that? Like, I get if you are, because you are 100% making this deal for security, and you traded him for the most injury-prone quarterback in the league. And
it's even if Tua's not quote unquote injury prone, it doesn't matter because everyone still has the concussion stink on him for at least another season. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to complete a full season after it happened for people to go, oh yeah, I kind of forget that he has that issue. So this does feel like one where if you have a guy, who else would be in the range for you where you would just swap them for Fields? So Tua, obviously. Who else? Jared Goff for Fields?
think I'd hold on to Jared Goff. I would hold on to Jared Goff.
Any others you can think of that are in that, like you would just trade them for Fields now just for the 1 to 2 years? Because Fields' deal is 2 years. Well, you're not getting him for not Stafford. He's a tier above Stafford. How about T-Law? You don't like T-Law?
You already know the answer, bro. I will give you. You will give me a second in Justin Fields, and you can have T-Law. And just to chasing Breaker's point about getting gassed up about Fields, I don't think Fields has any long-term value, but I do know that Fields starting this year will outscore Trevor Lawrence. I know that Fields as a starting quarterback has been a top 5 producing quarterback. Trevor Lawrence was never, if you killed half the quarterbacks in the league, he would not be a top 5 producing quarterback in fantasy.
That's an interesting way to get there.
I'm just saying.
Eliminate half of them.
Right. I'm just saying. I don't know. And again, this isn't that I particularly like Fields. I treat Fields, and I said this a couple of years ago about him too. I treat him like I do a mercenary running back, right? Like if I can get a year out of him where he gives me smash production, I'll figure it out after that. He is not a long-term plan.
All right, let's look at a couple others. Josh Jacobs for Justin Fields in a 211. Speaking of a 1-year mercenary running back, what do you think of that one? Because I could see this being a deal that somebody who had Fields chilling as their QB4 that just kind of had him, right? And they're looking to get something non-quarterback related for him. What do you think about that? I think I'd still rather have Fields because I'd rather trade a better quarterback than if I have 3 of them above Fields, I'd rather use him and trade for something better. You know what I mean?
Look, I get this deal though, right? You are like, oh, finally I can get I can get Justin Fields off my roster when nobody wanted him before. I do like to play the what else could it be though? I definitely, you know what I mean? The mystery box. Maybe I mystery box it sometimes too much and it ends up being dick in the box. But I think I would hold on to Justin Fields in the 211 with the hopes that, dude, if Justin Fields is smashing in the middle of the season, I could move him for first value. I could move him for more than this.
Well, before you accepted this offer, wouldn't you send Fields in a second for a first?
Yeah.
And just try that from everybody before you accept the deal for a running back, right? So I think this is an okay deal if you've already shopped around. Because I have a couple Fields where he's my QB4, QB5. Because I'm obsessed with carrying backup QBs. When he became a backup QB, I'm like, sure, I'll take him as a throw-in a deal. But now I'm looking to trade him for non-QB value. You know what I mean? So I would be interested in a deal like this, but I'd rather have a pick before taking Jacobs. Oh, this is a busy trade. Well, let's fire it out there because it's a lot. So it's a 14-team start 11.
Oh, my.
You're giving up the 101, 301, and a future second for Fields, the 112, the 113, and 2/3. So let's call it Fields in the 101 or Fields in the 112 and 113.
Yeah, that's really an inappropriate and unfortunate spot for that pop-up ad to jump in. But anyway, the 101.
Okay.
I want the 101 side.
Oh, we're not going to probably highlight Sam Darnold, but that might be one we could talk about. Sam Darnold or Justin Fields?
Sam Darnold.
Interesting. So you would trade away Tua, but you'd rather have Darnold on the Seahawks with no weapons?
He's got weapons. He's got
and a bad line.
He's got Ken Walker. They're going to fix the line. You don't worry. Look, they have 2 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks. You can do a lot of good with that. You know.
Okay.
Look,
I would take the other side on this. Yeah, if I get a third thrown in and I get Fields for Darnold, when I see them as very similar risks, I would take Fields all day.
I am buying the Todd McShay narrative that the Seattle is going to go ahead and fix this. What's his dude's name? John Schneider. Is that their GM? That he's got a plan in place, and I'm gonna trust the process. And yes, I called JSN a weapon.
You did. Yeah. Took them to get rid of every other thing on the team, and he finally shades in. Anyway, I know 2 more.
Okay.
This is an interesting one. 204 and 207 for Fields in the 210. I think 207 and 210 are probably not a huge value, but let's call it a late first, early second. Would you pay that for Fields here with the 204?
I think I went the seconds. I think the second side. I think I went the 204s and the 204, the 204 and the 207.
And I don't argue with that side. I think if you wanted Fields though, and all you had to pay is the 2 seconds and you got a 210 back, I could easily justify taking that side too, because you came out with the second asset in a 2 for 2. One more, Geno Smith versus Justin Fields. We already talked Darnold, but Geno Smith, now that he's got Brock Bowers, and he might even be in a better situation than Sam Darnold.
Oh, he's in a much better situation.
What do you think about Geno versus Fields?
I'm shooting upside again, right? People are not going to like this math because they're going to be trying to, like, they think KTC rankings, like I have to adhere to them, and I don't. I'm taking Justin Fields over Geno Smith, but I completely understand if someone feels safer with Geno Smith. Well, you should feel safer with Geno Smith, yeah, quite frankly. But I'll shoot the upside with Justin Fields.
So would you take Sam Darnold over Geno Smith?
The people are going to hate this
you
math.
already answered.
I know.
You already answered Justin Fields.
I know.
Or Sam Darnold over Fields. Fields.
I got you. Fields over Darnold.
Yes, and then Geno over Fields.
Geno over Fields, but then I would probably take Darnold over Geno.
Shane, come on.
It makes sense in my head.
It doesn't work like that.
I gotta draw the diagram for everyone. It makes 100% sense. 100%. It's too bad we don't have editing in this because you can bring up the Charlie from It's Always Sunny. But
there's a last one. Geno Smith and Justin Fields, and then Alvin Kamara for Michael Mayer in a second, and that's a 1.75. So I think this person's probably either banking on Mayer getting traded, or they are getting rid of Mayer on the fact that he might be traded, and this is the one time you can actually move it.
Ooh, I got to be honest with you. This breaks my brain a little bit when you add a second usable piece to it. It does. Like I'm discombobulating right here.
Well, I think most of us, if we were in the window to use Alvin Kamara, I would take Alvin Kamara for Michael Mayer in a second. So then it's pick your quarterback, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I literally don't know if this be one of those where I would just put it in my pocket and be like, I'm not making this deal because I don't know what the correct answer is.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get back to the crowd, take a couple trades, then we'll look up a couple more players. It's been a fun little exercise.
Yeah, everyone's going to try to figure out the math equation on that.
It's already over.
Versus Justin Fields.
Yeah, it's already blown. There's no way to figure it out.
The next Shane says
Shane's not even sure.
All right, real quick. I know you just want trades, but shout out to Scott from Mel Brooks. You remember Scott predicting the Najee a year ago to San Diego, to Chargers, to the Chargers a year ago. Yep, 100%, man, 100%. Scott had that lined up. Okay. The soup_kitchen traded Hollywood, Ridley, Bigsby, and Mayer for a 27th first and a 12-team start 9. None of these guys should hit my lineup this year. I needed space on the roster also. Too much. Okay, so this is you're bragging because, again, you just gave up all this random stuff on your roster and got a 27th first. Yeah, because no. Ridley's the only one maybe that would start, but probably
could be shallow. It's a start 9. I mean, shallow rosters and shallow lineups. I think this is the sucker is the one that traded a first for all this stuff and then goes, either A, if I'm starting any of this stuff, I'm probably in bad shape, or B, I can't start this stuff. Why did I trade for it? So I love that deal.
Here, I don't care what you say. Here's John. John said hi earlier from Dynasty Theory. So if you're not checking out Dynasty Theory, make sure you check in live on it's Monday evenings, right?
It's Monday nights, 9:00. Yes, Dynasty Theory live.
Yeah, I listen to the podcast on Tuesdays, but they are live Monday, this channel. Make sure you check our dudes out. All right, we can find a trade. There are many, many trades. I don't want to talk a trade. I want to do, where's this dude's at?
We get 2 or 3 comments between looking up deals. So you put whatever you want up.
All right, hold on. Where'd this bro go? It is, oh, come on, Shane. You're better than this. Here you go. Downs or Davante? If you're just competing, it's Davante. If not Downs, no, I'm taking Davante. If you're not competing, yes, I would take Downs again, mostly because of what he could be. There's a chance I could never move Davante Adams off my roster. There's still a chance I could move Downs, even if I'm not particularly infatuated with the return.
Yeah, the Colts' weapons are interesting because they're absolutely nuked until they get a new quarterback, but we could be looking at the second half of the year, surprisingly, and Josh Downs could be last year's Wan'Dale Robinson, but better. with Daniel Jones. You know what I mean? It could happen. So I don't mind having some Colts players stashed just for the inevitability of when Anthony Richardson fails and they put in Daniel Jones and at least they have some passing game production.
All right, Dustin Taylor. Is there a buy low window on Pickens because of DK? He offered Waddle for Pickens and was declined, but unsure if he's worth more. I would prefer Waddle over Pickens, to be quite frank.
Waddle for Pickens. I mean, I think they're both probably similar assets. You can debate which one you like better, which one has more ceiling, which one has a better team. And we don't even know the Steelers quarterback at this point.
Oh, it's going to be
it's going to be Rodgers most likely,
yeah.
But we still don't know for sure. So I don't know. I'd take Waddle for Pickens, right? I think there's a lot more volatility with Pickens.
Oh, I want Waddle all day.
First being, what do the Steelers do with Pickens? That there's no guarantee that. I mean, we have a subscriber in the Discord, KDR, that's a huge Steeler fan. He says the Steelers they're just George Pickens is their next T. Higgins. He's playing this year, then they're going to tag him, then they're going to tag him again. And he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that'll just take that quietly. You know what I mean? So
no, he's the I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. It's mercurial. Is that how you say it? But just a fancy way of saying asshole. That's just the type of dude he is. Yeah.
A lot of these guys don't have a choice but to play on the tag. It's just you probably don't want your asset going through that. It's just better when there's not anything outside of football that is giving them volatility in the market. So let's look up some more deals. Let's get it back. I'll change it over for us. Who do you want to go to next? Get rid of Justin Fields.
All right, so we got Justin Fields. I would be interested to see. I don't want to say we just did quarterback. I kind of want to do Geno or Sam Darnold, to be quite honest with you.
Which one do you want to do?
Cooper Kupp.
Well, he hasn't signed anywhere yet. He's
released. He's released.
Yeah, but it just happened. So I think we gotta find somebody off the wall. Let's leave it to the chat. Who's the chat want to see?
All right, who do you want to see?
Give us a player. We'll take 30 seconds to figure it out as I stare at this list.
D Brown. What's up, D Bro? How you feeling?
What's up, D Bro?
How you feeling, bro?
Who do we want to see?
Waddle over everything. I'm actually slightly becoming a Waddle fan. I don't know how that happened. Anywho.
Someone we have not done a video on is
who's left? Godwin?
We didn't do a Godwin video because he's literally just returning to the same situation he was in last year. I mean, it's a different OC, but largely nothing's real changed.
Jalen McMillan's a thing now. Bowers, Montgomery. What affected Montgomery? Engram went to Denver, but that just happened, so I don't know. There's going to be nothing in there. Christian Kirk.
Let's try Engram. I think that's
Christian Kirk and Evan
Ingram.
Engram. Okay.
There's not a lot with Engram, so we're going to get literally trades from today. So most of these should probably be still fresh.
Evan Engram in a 2026 first for George Pickens and a 26 third in a 12 start 11 half point.
So 1.5.
That's what I meant. Yep.
What side are you taking there? Anything with the first, right?
It's the first side by about $1 billion. Dude, in this format, I don't even want to say it. It's just a half point tight end premium, but I'm not particularly enamored with George Pickens. I don't think his value is going to – I feel like his value is going to crater, to be quite honest with you. Ooh, Debro wants to see about Keon Coleman.
No, we could do a Keon Coleman. Yeah. Some of these are – I like trades that are a little more simplistic to try to get through. So here's a good one.
Yeah.
So it's a 12-team start 11, half PPR. Evan Engram and Christian Kirk for the 208 and the 307. I'm okay with this if I know I'm putting them in my lineup.
And you are. In the start 11, I guarantee you're putting Evan Engram and Christian Kirk in there.
The point of trading for guys, especially like Christian Kirk, they have to be penciled in one of your flexes or like your first guy off the bench. Otherwise, it's pointless to give up draft picks for more than a couple depth pieces. I'd rather play that pick more into draft season and maybe even kick it to the future. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to trade with Christian Kirk if he's my wide receiver 7. I'd rather just not have him at that point.
No, at that point, I'm trying to move one of those picks to next year just so I can use it in season for when I know what I need to buy for my roster.
12 by 11, 1.5 premium. Evan Engram and Damian Pierce, who's just an RB on a 53 for the 203. You paying the 203 for Evan Engram. And again, he has to be your starter. If you already have Hunter Henry or Mike Gesicki or someone like, I'm not trading for Evan Engram. You know what I mean? Like, I have to know he's my starter. The value I'm getting in this deal is that I fill a need, not just I buy a player.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Most of my rosters already have like an Evan Engram type on it, so this would be redundant and a waste of an asset for me. Clearly, it wasn't for this person. So yeah, sure. If they're throwing them in there, yeah, give me the. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the next one already. But yeah, I'll take the Engram side. I understand it.
12 by 12. Half PPR with half tight end premium added. You give up your 26 first, so you're giving up some flexibility. We have no clue where that first is going to be. But you get Bryce Young and Evan Engram and a second. I don't hate this. Give it up my first.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's a 12 by 12, Shane. I can buy a
get
starter
it.
with the second and start Engram, and I get a quarterback that, hell, one weapon for the Panthers. If they draft Ted McMillan at 8, you could probably get a first for Bryce Young. All it takes is one little nudge for people to give up a first for Bryce, and you get Engram in a second for free. I'm taking that. That's how I like to trade a first if I get 3 pieces like this.
I am still, this is my new thing, and I'm reticent on moving 2026 firsts, 2027 firsts. Like when I do those need to be something different than this. You know, there better be a Puka, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Chase involved on the other side. And I'm not saying one for one, obviously I'm not slow, but I'm saying as part of the deal, I need to be using that first for something significant. Yeah, Keon Coleman's getting a lot of questions in there.
Yep, we'll put Keon up in a second. Let's do a couple more on Evan Engram, see if anything piques my interest here. Not really.
That move.
That was yesterday. So yeah, these are old. These are before the signing today. So let's roll Keon Coleman in here, see what we get. Keon. I'll be interested in this. I didn't really think of Keon Coleman, but obviously the Palmer signing kind of took people for surprise a little bit. 22 Keon Coleman deals. First one. It's a 12 by 11 with a 2 PPR for tight ends. Not that it matters because there's no tight ends involved, but that's the format. Dak, Keon Coleman, and a third for Eckler. Maybe you can wash Eckler in the third. So Dak and Keon for Darnold and Geno Smith.
Either Sam or Geno cancels out Dak, and then it's a free quarterback in a super flex league. So,
ooh, that's a hot take. Shane's definitely not high on Dak.
No, I like Dak fine. It's just he's in that range of QB 13 through QB 30, where there's about a billion dudes.
So you're saying basically, if I'm forced to play Geno or Darnold, I can kind of approximate Dak's production with one of those guys. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Keon Coleman, of course, it always comes up the ad. Keon Coleman in the 104 for Kyler Murray in a 12 by 10, 1.5 tight end premium.
I need a quarterback, Kyler, baby.
Interesting. So even if you can get Cam Ward there, that's still Kyler pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on my dude Kyler that easily. It's not happening.
I mean, you'd pay the 104 for Kyler, right? If you needed one, pretty easy.
Yeah.
So yes. Keon is effectively, like the chat's saying, he's a throw-in to get. Here's what Keon is. It's like, okay, he's on my bench. I probably can't get much for him. Maybe I could recoup a second from a desperate team, but I'm using him to get what I want. I got to just toss him into a deal to get it done because you probably weren't getting Kyler for the 104 straight up, but you throw Keon in, it's like deal done.
Keon Coleman is literally in the third, and I'm not saying this is what he's worth, but he's in the range of a third and a fourth. He's being used the same way you use those, where you're like, yeah, I'll throw you a third. How about another third? How about a fourth on top? So he's basically like 3/3 and a fourth, whatever that math works out to.
14 teamer. So 14 teams start 10, 1.5 premium. So the tight end advantage is actually spread even thinner here, right? Like Sam Laporta has a little more value here because it's a 14 teamer. So Laporta, Jordan Love, and Keon, Dak, Tyreek, and Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson and Laporta are pretty similar here in terms of like how they would be valued. Yep. So it's Keon and Jordan Love for Tyreek and Dak. That's
so
easy, right?
Tyreek versus Keon Coleman. Right. And then Dak versus Jordan Love. Jordan Love is another one of those quarterbacks that's in that QB 10 to 30 range. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and take left side.
Okay, here is I'm getting out on Keon Coleman just to have fun in the draft. But I don't hate this. If you don't see a role for Keon Coleman and you think he just ends up being wide receiver 30 to 60, somewhere in there, I don't hate this, Shane. Just I have 4 toys I can play with on draft day. Now 3 of them are like the shitty Happy Meal toys that you get that you lose before you even get home. But I don't hate this. Do you?
If I have Keon Coleman, though, I don't think this is how I'm trying to use him.
Right.
I like that Kyler deal. You know what I mean? Where he's like,
Mhm.
all right, he's an added asset. Like, even if it's not an extremely valuable asset in that person's mind, it's enough to get it over. I don't know that I want to do it for the 210 and then the 411. Look, this draft is deep. I have no idea who you're drafting at 5'11. I gotta be quite honest with you.
But it's fun to have those picks because you get in the midst of the draft and you want something. Now, this person was intoxicated because it must be Keon
Jesus.
Coleman's twin brother.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I don't know about that deal. But that must be every once in a while you see these deals on Dynasty Daddy and you're like, did someone steal someone else's phone? And they're
This
just
is
waiting to reverse this deal. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a shame. How about
Oh, there's a guy you've been wanting to
Chris
get more of,
Olave?
Chris Olave.
Yeah, that's some cheap Chris Olave. That's the type of risk I'm looking to make when it comes to Chris Olave. Gimme.
See, like in these deals, like Keon Coleman's actually an asset in this deal. Keon
This
Coleman in
one,
the 103 for the
yeah,
101, and you give the 203 for the 111. I mean,
yeah, this is the 101 side. But yes, Keon Coleman's definitely looking as being looked at as being an asset in this trade. Definitely.
this is an interesting one. Last one. I know where you probably at on
Yeah,
this one. Keon Coleman in the 302 for Cortland Sutton in the 208. So the pickup grades on the Sutton side,
I get the better pick and the better player. So I'm not really
apparently.
sure. Yeah. I like when things go that way for me. It doesn't happen a lot, but I'll take Cortland Sutton in the 208, please.
All right.
Cody
Rapid
says.
fire. Throw up some comments. We'll
All
do a
right,
couple more
comments.
comments, then a couple more players, then we're done.
All right, Andy Tobin. 12 teams, start 9, Superflex, no tight end premium. The 101 and Darnold for the 103, a 26 first, 207, 212. He needs a QB2 because he has Lamar, Gibbs, Kamara, and Cans. Would take Genty 101. He would give up the 101 and get
Yes.
Darnold. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's giving up the 101 and Darnold for the 103, 26 first,
No,
207, 212.
I'm reading this as he's getting the 101 in Darnold because he needs a QB and he wants Genty. I'm fine doing this because you're basically getting the 101 for the 103 and you're just paying your first for Darnold. I mean, I don't love it, but in a start 9, you're adding Genty, Darnold to Gibbs, Lamar. I don't know. Unless your roster is just completely gutted, I understand the thought on this trade. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I'll take the Genty side or the one I'll call it the 101 side, right? Because again,
Yep.
as you pointed out to me last week when I said this, it's not the point that it's Genty right now. It's the point it's the 101. Like that's where the power is. Like let's say Hampton gets drafted in the top 10 for some reason. Dallas loses their minds and trades up for Hampton in the top 10 somehow. I don't know. I'm just saying things can happen. Because right now they're planning to go to the season with Javonte Williams as their starter, apparently. But anyway, something crazy could happen. I'll take the 101 side. Yes.
All right. Throw up a couple more. Then we're going to do Anthony Richardson will be one of the players we look at. I'll be interested to see if there's been any deals for Richardson. What else? One more deal. One more comment.
Debro's watching, hopefully still. If not, hopefully he catches this later. I saw this before he was out there, but Sanat in a 27 third for the 209.
Go watch the Zach Ertz video where basically I think we would take anything for Benson, right?
Yeah, we are taking that 209. Please give us the 209. I like this point for chasing breakers, right? To the point you guys always make. You need to be willing to pull the trigger on fields at top value, but how do you know where that is, right? And you don't. That's the problem, right? The only time you know a player's at peak value is when they're the one, wide receiver 1, QB 1, running back 1. You know they're at peak value. every other time you're just trying to use context clues, right? Like Blues clues. You're just trying to figure out, like, could it go any higher than this, or is this the ceiling? And in some of these deals that we were looking at, I'm guessing that the ceiling could be higher than the return you're getting right there. But that's the point, right? You're trying to figure out, where is the ceiling? When do you can't know it definitively. You just kind of have to, like I said, you have to look at the deal that you're looking at and think, all right, best case scenario, can I do better? And if it's not, and if I hit the worst case scenario, can I live with the fact that I didn't make this deal, right? If it turns out that Justin Fields busts and I didn't get a 206 for him, can I live with that end result? I think I can. I think I can.
Yeah, the hardest thing with Fields is his peak production and value, because they're going to correlate, right? Is going to happen at the time where you're probably absolutely rolling with Justin Fields on your team. Meaning he puts up back-to-back QB 3 or better weeks, and you're going, hell yeah, this is found money. I'm winning my league. I don't care about his trade value. And that is the window where you have to have the discipline. If your plan was to move him then. Not wait until next January and complain that the Jets are in the mix to draft a quarterback in the top 5. And then you wonder why you can't get anything for Fields at that point. Like,
right.
Guys like him, the correlation is going to be very easy to spot, because it's going to be the moment where you're going, man, my team is 6-1. How do I trade away Justin Fields when he's QB 6 on the year? Well, that's the moment where you'll be able to get a first for him. And if you say no, understand that his value is going to drop 50% when the season ends. So just keep that into context. All right. I got Anthony Richardson fired up. If you want to change over the screen for us.
Oh, yeah, I got it this time.
Let's see if Shane can get it 50 minutes into the stream. All right. One down. Nope.
No.
You have to change the tab on StreamYard.
Yeah, there's this. Yeah, exactly. That's what I did. I did it. So Anthony Richardson.
Well, we're getting practice for next week. Okay, Anthony Richardson. Let's make sure we're refreshed here. Hey, Rich, 32 trades made on Anthony Richardson. Well, let's go yesterday, because that's when we got the Daniel Jones news. In the last 2 days, 24 deals for Anthony Richardson. So here we go. Jerry Jeudy, Anthony Richardson, a 4th, a 2nd, and a 3rd for Justin Herbert and Jaden Reed.
Oh, Justin Herbert side by a lot.
And you could almost wash Jerry Jeudy and Jaden Reed, but still, if you can add shit to Anthony Richardson to tier up to a quarterback in the Herbert range, you're doing that all day, right? Like that's why you sell Anthony Richardson, not for picks, not because he doesn't have upside, but that's what you do with them. That's what I'd prefer to do.
You take Jaden Reed off the Justin Herbert side, and it's still Justin Herbert comfortably.
Sure.
Yeah, this is just that's
That one's too busy. There we go. It's a big boy trade. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a 1st, and Anthony Richardson for Lamar Jackson in a start 11 14-teamer.
Oh, start 11.
14-teamer. So it's start 11, 14 teams. So it's spread real thin, but man, you're losing a lot of quarterback umph here.
You are
in a 14-teamer.
So imagine this world, right? So I have Amon-Ra, I have 26 first. I have a feeling my team's not very good if I'm willing to move Lamar Jackson, right? So clearly I need assets.
What if you also have another elite QB? What if you also have Jalen Hurts, and then this just made your team a powerhouse?
Completely possible. But then you know what I'm doing? I get Anthony Richardson on my roster. What else can I trade him for now? Because it's a start 11. I need assets. Like, what else can I trade?
Let's go see if there's any solo Anthony Richardson deals to see what you could get for him. But if you did that, though, you'd be looking to split Richardson or liquidate him.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I have just the sense. I have absolutely nothing to support this idea, but I think the team on the left is rebuilding. And this is they've done something now where I have a 26 first that I could split into 2 assets. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I could split into multiple assets. Like, this is one of those like expanding blow up trees. It's a nesting doll where I keep pulling it and there's other things in it. So yeah, give me that side.
So here's one, and just let the chat know, is it clearly Justin Fields over Anthony Richardson and not close?
Yes.
Okay. Richardson in the 305 for the 205 and the 304.
Yeah, 205 and 304.
Interesting. So even if you have a hole at quarterback and you just want potentially just 6 games of mercenary production, because Richardson, he may not start the whole year. He may not start the year as the quarterback. He will play. So this goes back to the Ward conversation, Shane, which we'll talk about next week. Like if I can get half a season of Anthony Richardson and he's just on average or on aggregate, the QB 15 or better in those starts, I pay the 205 for that. I got to start him. I got to be able to ride the highs and lows, but I'd pay the 205 for that, honestly.
Yeah, and this is player taking on my part, right? Like I have no confidence in AR. I fully expect, and again, I'm not a scout, so take it for whatever it's worth. All I am is a content creator about fantasy football. I don't really know shit insider stuff. I just feel like Daniel Jones is probably going to beat him out. And if he doesn't,
so Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, who would you prefer?
Daniel Jones,
because Daniel Jones can run. Not as much as Richardson, but like he has a little upside if he has a good offense around him. So Richardson in a second for Tua. We know you hate Tua, so
damn it. This is
you don't like Tua, but this is not what you want to give for your Tua, right?
No. I can't do this. Can I get Bryce Young in a second for Tua? Or
no,
just Bryce
you have
Young?
to take Anthony
just Bryce
Richardson.
Young. I'll hold on to Tua.
Let's see. What else can we get done here? Stafford. Oh, that's a rough one. Anthony Richardson in the 410 or Nick Chubb in the 311. Now, come on. You got to go A-Rich there.
Oh, yeah, because I can turn Anthony. There's no doubt that I can get more for Anthony Richardson on the open market than Nicholas Chubb.
Oh, here's one. 12 by 11. We got Anthony Richardson, Bucky Irving, and Hunter Henry for Justin Fields, Chuba Hubbard, and the 209. So Richardson over Fields, right? Or Fields over Richardson, right?
Yeah.
Bucky way over Chuba Hubbard because of what you can do. And then not 209 over Hunter Henry, easy, and a 1.5 premium. What side would you take here, though? Because you're kind of using Bucky as the catalyst to get the Field side, and you're still getting a decent running back in Chuba.
Oh, yeah. I'm taking the Chuba side. Chuba, Fields, and 209. The only pause I have is Bucky Irving is is the most valuable asset in this whole deal.
That's why it's interesting.
I've seen Bucky Irving moved for 105. I've traded him for the 105. I've seen people do better than that. Like your league though. I'm guessing if you could have done that, you probably would have already moved Bucky Irving for that. So I'll take the left side.
All right, let's look at a couple more. Oh, okay. So a 12 by 10. Yeah, someone gave up the 111 for both Colts quarterbacks. You don't like that?
Look, that's making the assumption that at least one of them has to be good.
What if they both stink and they just trade off the job all year?
Yeah, that's a strong assumption, my friend. So I don't have enough conviction in Daniel Jones to do this deal. Not a chance.
Okay, we'll end on this one because I think this is a fun deal. Anthony Richardson and Najee Harris for Chase Brown and Justin Fields.
Is this close?
No, but there's people that love the Najee in the Chargers landing spot.
Oh, and definitely. People, I've been in our comments on the Najee video. People were breaking down the running scheme for me to explain to me why Najee is going to do smash numbers there. You showed me a bunch of efficiency metrics, and in the chat yesterday in the Heisman, you showed some more that make me a little reticent to believe in Najee Harris. Either way, I'm taking Justin Fields and Chase Brown because I'll move Chase Brown if I don't believe in him for something else.
Yeah, you're getting the better deal on both sides with Justin Fields and Chase Brown in that deal. But Shane, we're almost to an hour. We got a couple more questions we can get to here if you would like, and then we will end the stream. And next week, maybe we'll talk about some more, continue the spirited discussion that we had in the Discord. And before we forget, where can people find those discussions? Try that promo again.
You want to get enjoy ddfantasyfootball.com. Use our QR code that's hidden by me right now because I am
in the description. Just click the link in there. The QR code is gone.
In the description. Go ahead and join. Obviously, you get access to the War tool, the Trinity tool, which is dope. And access to our Discord community where, quite frankly, there's just awesomeness all day. Scott and Ray jumping in the voice chat pretty much all the time. I jump in there less frequently because I can't, but I will often try to get in there on the drive home. Get the morning drive, bonus podcast, all that good stuff. ddfantasyfootball.com. Go in the link, hit the description. There's also a code for half off the first month. So do that.
I can always say something that triggers Shane so much that he gets in the voice chat while he's driving and he says, I'm about to wreck. I have so much I need to say. I need to wait for the red light so I can just unload.
While I'm driving home, I'm checking the chat out, reading the comments at the stoplight or at the light. And then, I should just be paying attention to the road, but I feel the need to disagree with Scott so adamantly that I'm driving with one hand like this and like typing away. So good times. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea.
Yep. Delete that part of the stream. Don't let your kids listen to it.
Never do that.
Shane, where do you want Cooper Kupp to go? What's the spot where tomorrow, if he signs, you're like, heck yes, I can sell him now? Where is it?
Chargers.
Okay.
People have just that spot. They've been talking about it. There are the Patriots because he seems like a Patriot. He seems like a Patriot, don't you? Anyway, so the Patriots or the Chargers, I think, are the spots that I think.
What about the Jags? I've heard that one.
Well, you know what? Yeah, that's fine because look, he
no Engram, no Kirk. I think the community would buy into that. That he would be a great compliment to BTJ.
And it's a Cooper DeJean. Anyway, and he's already done well enough under Puka's shadow, right? And it's going to be the same situation. He's going to be a low bro with the Jags to BTJ, but I think both those spots will be good for him.
Well, Shane, we've come to the end of the show. It's been a great show. This was fun. I always over anticipate how many trades we're actually going to be able to go through. But we got through, I think, 5 or 6 players. I thought we were going to get through like 20, but no, only 5 or 6, just because there's a lot to talk about. Maybe we'll do this again, maybe in a couple weeks when things start to settle down. More trades are in the database. We can look at some things that have changed. But with that, thank you, everybody. Go tune in to all the other content on the channel, like and subscribe. Click the link. You get 50% off to join the community. I promise once you're in there, you won't want to leave, but try it out. Join us. That's where we're at, doing a lot of content. And with that, we're done for the week. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you all. Subscribe.